All right. We are recording. So thank you for
all,
joining
all
me.
professional.
Thank you for joining me. I've been wanting to talk to you. I've been seeing that you're doing a whole bunch of like studio work and a whole bunch of stuff. I'm really enjoying like what you're producing.
I'm trying, man. It's been a constant grind, so I'm just trying
What
to
do,
get up to some of you guys' level.
what do you think your struggles are?
For a while, it was getting people in front of the camera, but that kind of changed up this year when I started shooting with a modeling agency. So I've got like I think there's 30 or so people there with them that I could just randomly pick and choose, hey, I want to go do this, or they'll reach out to me. So that kind of helped. And just seeing that, I think it started enticing other people to reach out and say, we like your style, can we shoot with you? What are your rates kind of thing. So it's slowly picking up, but it feels like it took forever to get there. So
That's very interesting. I've never even like dealt with like agencies at all. Like what all did you have to do to get into that?
honestly, man, I think I was in the right place at the right time. One of their models I reached out to at the beginning of this year, not knowing she was with an agency, and say, hey, I really like your pictures. Would you mind if I had a session with you? And she told me I'm with an agency. It costs so much, and I was like, okay, that's fine. It wasn't a lot. They weren't asking much. I'm not going to put their prices out there, but so I paid them and shot with her, and the manager owner liked it a lot. And then the next week, another one of them reached out to me, and I didn't know she was part of the same agency and shot with her. And after seeing both of those, they called me in and said, hey, we really like your style. Are you shooting with anyone else? I said, no, I'm just kind of by myself and with friends. And it kind of just snowballed into, well, why don't you just be a part of this family? And now it's three other photographers that I work with, or two other photographers. They have uh, like a clothing person. They've got somebody that sets up sets and throws out ideas. It's just kind of cool seeing the inner workings of that, and then watching some of the models grow from walking in the door at first and looking very awkward in front of the camera to seeing stuff like what you see on a regular basis. It's cool to see how it worked from the inside.
Dude, that's super awesome. Yeah, because I've talked to people about agencies, and then everybody's like, "Oh, it's a fee or whatever," and then I'm always like, I just kind of blow it off. I'm like, whatever, like I'm
Hmm.
I'm not like I'm just trying to create out here. Like I'm not worried about everything else, and so um, I've always been just kind of like skeptical of agencies and stuff.
I think I was at first also whenever somebody said it, but I got to the point, Sebastian, where I was like, I'm tired. Let me not say I'm tired of shooting the same people, but I was shooting the same three or four faces over and over and over. So there was no variety in my work at all. It was the same girls. And granted, I love them for letting me do that and being guinea pigs, but it never showed variety. It never showed that I could shoot anyone else. So it got to the point where I was like, okay, I can either keep going down this road and not showing variety, or I could pay. And I at the first few where I did pay, but now I don't pay because I'm one of their photographers. So I have uh like I said, it's 30 something girls, four or five guys. So I've got like different faces I could just, hey, I think you'll look good for this, or I think you'll look good for that. So it started off the same way, very skeptical, but now being a part of it, I feel like it opened up a whole bunch of doors for me.
That's freaking awesome, dude. I'm really happy for you. And is it their studio that you're shooting in? Because I've seen you in some studios, some pretty big studios, and I'm like, where is that man?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
One of them is just a place they practice in. So I have access to that every Thursday, and then every other Sunday when they're there, I can go in there and shoot. And some of the other ones, they've actually paid for to say, hey, you're shooting our model, so we're going to pay for the studio, or I'll pay it. But even still, I think the name that's associated with it, they'll say, oh yeah, well it's at a discounted rate for you guys. So instead of being so much money, I'll pay like $25 an hour for the studio, which isn't bad at all. Like I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
fussing
really
about that.
good. I've been planning a trip out to LA, and I've been talking to a couple girls out there. And for like what I do, I don't really know where to go. And I was like, we can do beach shots, and then we can maybe get a hotel. And they were
Hmm.
like, well, there's studios here. And I was like, okay, well, send me some studios, and I'll look at them. And yeah, they're like $100 an hour to like 250.
That's
It's pretty
California,
ridiculous in
man.
LA. Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
California, period. The price of living on everything out there is outrageous.
So yeah, but they had some really cool stuff, and I really wanted to go, and then I was just like, that's a lot of money though. That's dipping into my travel fund. But yeah, I mean, I think I think the like those renting studios is like an up and coming thing because I feel like a lot of photographers don't have their own studios because everybody's in apartments or stuff like that.
Yeah. At some point, I hope to. It's not anytime soon because I feel like you need too much space for that, and I don't have that in my house right now. I can't designate as much area as I feel like I would need to make it work for a studio. It just with everything going on in my house is not worth it. I need more space. So renting right now, it's not a bad option. And then, like I said, the one downtown with them, it's a big empty white room that I could use every Thursday night if I want it, and it's bare, so I could pretty much bring in there whatever I want. It's a blank canvas to use, so it's pretty cool.
That's super awesome. I converted my my garage. So my garage has like kind of everything that our like regular studio had at AI.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my lights, I got my diffusers, I got everything.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, like I definitely want. I think my main thing right now is trying to find more creative spaces. So like I've seen like some of those. What do they call like pop up studio places where people just go take pictures on their phones. And I've been
Mm-hmm.
wanting to go to a couple and then just go wild out there and just shoot like crazy.
Does those do those fit your style though? Like, can you
No,
do
so
you think you'd be
I've seen a couple photographers do it where they'll rent out the whole place and then they'll shoot in lingerie like on this rainbow swing, or they'll do like lingerie photos in like the cloud room. They have like a whole cloud
uh,
room. So like they have some really cool looks that could
mhm.
definitely we could definitely play with.
Yeah,
I just haven't made it out there. I'm like, all this money is, I'm not sure.
they have what's it, the Wonder Chamber here? I
Yeah, I've
keep
been
hearing
there.
about there's one in Austin I've heard about now a few times that some people have asked me to go out to. It's just making my way out there. But again, it's I think my style is so not studio based. I can shoot in the studio and inside, but it's just I feel like my style of shooting just sits better outside. A lot like yours does. Well, some of yours is like very, but then I don't know. I like studio, but then at the same time, I'd much rather be outside. I feel like I have more control over what I want when I'm outside for some reason.
I feel like, so yeah, I think there's a give and take. So I feel like there you can definitely control how you have your model lit a lot more in studio, because you're
Mhm.
like, you know, you want these skin tones, you want this to be a certain way, you want this to be lit up, you know, just throw a light on it. As opposed to outside, you're fighting the sun, and then you're fighting with time, and then you have all these other things. But then outside is just so beautiful. Like if you have the right place, it's just so
Yes.
pretty. How do you find your locations? Like, do you just go out and scout, or is it just like people tell you like check this place out?
Word of mouth is one way. Google Earth. One of our classmates, I don't know if you remember her, Danielle.
Yeah.
I asked her one time what she used, and she said I get on Google Earth and just kind of like walk around the different streets. And I've honestly done that with a few different things. I've asked you a few times. Jeffrey, who was on your show a few days ago, I've asked him one of my last shoots. He showed me, and we went out there, and I actually got one of the images published from his location, his help. So shout out to Jeffrey, I appreciate that. But it's word of mouth, it's looking around. Now it's so funny, especially when I'm driving around. Like I'll see something, and when I can stop, I'll go back to my phone and make a note. I was at six and whatever street, and then I'll go home and look it up. And if it fits, I'll keep a note of it. I've got a list of about 10 places that I kind of keep in rotation, but I'm always looking for different places. So it's asking people like you, Jeffrey, just word of mouth if I see something. But it's always looking for something different, especially here because San Antonio has so many photographers and good ones. You see the same places over and over, and you want some variety somewhere. So
Yeah. Everybody and their
you're
mama's
lucky.
at the Pearl, so
uh, I try to stay away from that place now if I can. It's a last resort now. So,
oh yeah. One
but
thing
you
that I used
gotta
to
have some
do.
nice places in Utah. There has to be
Oh
amazing
yeah,
places out there.
there's ridiculously amazing places just like driving out there. So I mean, it's driving and hiking. So I found a really cool little hot spring that's a hidden. Technically, it's an illegal hot spring. So we went out there and and we snuck in there. We took some shots. It was great. I want to go to the salt flats, but it's an hour away, so I have to find a model who's willing to commit. I found another really cool waterfall, but it's a hour and a half hike to get up there, and it's pretty steep. So I definitely want to make the time, but again, finding the model who's willing to walk up there, But yeah, I'm planning on diving into a whole bunch of on location stuff, pretty much this month and next month. So I'm pretty excited.
How's the weather out there for on location stuff? Because here, well, Texas in the summer it's 100 and hail. So being outside at certain hours is just not conducive to anybody's health.
Right now, it's hot. It's like I gotta look it up exactly, but I know the other day, it's really kind of a funny story. The other day it was about 101 or two, and my wife is in the Air Force, and one of her sergeants had vape batteries in his pocket, and they were rubbing together, and it was so hot, this man caught on fire. Like, no shit, caught on fire, had to get rushed to the ER. They put him out, luckily.
It's not funny, but it is. Like, it's hot.
It's pretty funny, yeah. That's how hot it is out here. So, I mean, it's not too bad, but I mean, it's always like if you find a model who's willing, you can run out there and get the shots.
Yeah.
But, it's all just finding people who are down. So, but back to like finding locations. One thing that I used to do when I was in San Antonio, or when I go like to a new place downtown, is I get those little bird scooters and I just ride around. Like, it's the best $15 you'll spend, because you can go around the whole city, like downtown, go into like the alleyways and check out all kinds of different places. That's how I discovered most of my spots. It's just riding through it and then going up like into the big parking garages, because you can get like an aerial view and kind of see.
I've come to love parking garages a lot for photo shoots for some reason. I don't know if it's just because the empty background and you can see the city kind of around it, but I feel like some of my best ones have been up at the top level of parking garages. So have to try the scooter thing to find some new locations.
Dude, yeah. One of my friends, she would go through parking garages, and then she never told me where it is because she knew I would go. But I guess you're not supposed to be up there, but it's a spot, like, I guess, you know how they have, like, I guess, a flat roof, like the Art Institute had a flat roof, and then it's just like you can see everything.
Yeah.
So there's really no guardrail and stuff up there. So she found one of those downtown, and then she took pictures of like just like you can just see the whole city, and she's just sitting off the edge, and it looked really scary because I'm scared of heights, but it was really tight. It was really tight. So
as long as I don't get too close to the edge, I'm good. So I'm not scared of heights, but looking down, something you just don't play with. So
yeah, that's a scary one. But I mean, yeah, you can get some really cool looks, cool different little concepts. So what kind of style would you say that you are?
That's a very good question. For the longest time, I would say I was fighting to say I was more fashion, but I think now it really is falling into that genre. I wanted to be sports so bad when I started out, but it just, when I really started getting comfortable with my equipment and feeling like I was really getting good, the pandemic hit. So sports just kind of were taken off the table, and people in portraits and being dressed up and looking nice just kind of was the only thing available, and they were the only ones willing to go out because it was one-on-one. We could keep our distance and like mask up when we needed to, and then they could take theirs off and shoot. So I really feel like fashion kind of just fell into my lap, but it's still a lot to learn with it also.
Yeah. So you can get really crazy with fashion too.
You can, and that's where I'm struggling, is to push the envelope and push to like those wild, outlandish scenes where it's just everything is the clashing colors, the wild makeup. Is just really pushing myself to get out there, because I feel like once I get comfortable with something, I kind of sit there for a little while until I've mastered it, instead of pushing further and further. How some of you guys push the envelope like in classes with some things. It's just I have a hard time pushing that envelope. So it's pokes and prods from certain people saying, Elvin, just try it, just go. So those people I think, and I show them a lot of the work, and they're like, well, what if you tried this, or what if you tried that? And it's just slowly making my way up that stream, I guess.
Okay. There, you can find a lot of inspiration too from oh my god, I can't remember this guy's name. It's like Nick Hart or Nick something. Nick Knight. That's his name. Nick Knight is a fashion photographer.
Maybe think of
And
Nickelodeon.
no. So his
Nick
name is
Knight.
Nick Knight. He's a fashion photographer, and he does like all like he did all the Kim Kardashian work in the beginning. He
Mhm.
worked with the Kardashians, then he did Kanye West stuff, and then he's worked with all these different types of people, and he does a lot of fashion. But he has a website, and on the Nick Knight website, you can see how he sets up these little scenes. So I think he was working with, I think it was just like foil, and then he was just foiling up his whole wall and just like a corner, just like this, not big, just like a little
Mhm.
corner. And then he got a model in it that had this metallic outfit, and then she was just going at it, just posing, and it was so nice to look at. Um,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, like I think just looking up photographers, like real, like professional photographers, and getting that inspiration for that. See, so or like getting that inspiration from them, but also seeing how they do what they do could give you inspiration for to do
It's
your own
that
thing.
uh, YouTube. I spend so much time on YouTube. It's not even funny. Just looking up different things. Instagram, just looking at different photographers, looking at your work, looking at uh, uh, some of our other classmates that are still actively shooting. So I know a lot of them aren't actively shooting right now for whatever reason, but it's just there's inspiration everywhere. If you really sit down and look, it's just where you want to draw from. Some of the people that I'm not sure if you really consider them fashion, but they're just here local photographers. One's here, name is Elvin is his Instagram handle. I don't know if you watch a lot of his stuff. Just his lighting, how he lights things, and then Manny Ortiz out in Chicago. Just looking at some of their stuff, but they're not really the fashion side of it, but how they light things, how they frame things, and then trying to add that with the fashion. It's trying to mix it all together and find my little niche in there. It's not an easy thing to do. I don't think it's just to find your spot. Like we knew in class early on what you were. Like it just
I was the
like
only
it
one
just
doing it, and then
you were
yeah,
the
I was
only
just
one.
getting.
So it got to the point where we were sitting in class, like, what's Sebastian gonna bring in today? Like what's and how's it gonna irk the teacher or which teacher is gonna like it? So it's just I think I wasn't lucky to find that niche as quickly as you were, and I'm still kind of looking for it, but I don't know. Once I find it and really get a hold of it, I hope I can really push the envelope and make a name for myself. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's something that also just came to me because the funny thing is I started really wanting to get into fashion. Like fashion photography was one of my things, and then the thing that it was kind of funny, right? The thing that pushed me towards this is this girl was like, I have this new Victoria's Secret outfit and it's really awesome and it's like a brand new thing and a lot of girls want it. She like played it up like fashiony. She's like, "Do you want to shoot
Mm-hmm.
me in it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's try it." And I did it. I had good lighting and I was like, "Oh, this is dope. Like this is like fashion." And then I just started getting girls who were like, "You want to shoot me in lingerie? You want to do me nude? You want to do this and that?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's try it." And so it just evolved. And then I've always wanted
Uh-huh.
to do fashion, but after seeing like people like Nick Knight, I was like, I need to do a really badass background. I need to get really badass outfits because I would get girls. I'm like, what kind of fashion outfits do you have? And most of these girls had something that like was just it was popular and it looked cute, but everybody had it. And
Yeah.
I want something original, something that nobody sees. So like I'm still kind of
Yeah.
looking for that. I still want to do that, but
But then, okay, we went to a school that had designers. Why not get with one of them and then? Because
I
I've thought
found
about that.
I found like one or two that I liked, and then I got paired
Uh,
up with so I asked around, and then someone introduced me to someone else, and I just was not feeling the work, and
mhm.
so I think I'm very picky about it on what I want to shoot with, but Yeah, I couldn't find the person for me. And then also it's really weird too. I found one girl who I really liked her work, and I've talked to her a couple times, and then I've been reaching out since like before we graduated, and she won't like text me back, and I don't know why, because she makes lingerie, and I was like,
Mhm.
we should collab, and she was just like not feeling it. I think it's like she has a boyfriend or something like that. I don't know, but it's just
Bring him along then. Like,
yeah. I don't care. I'm trying to shoot this. Yeah, I don't know.
see,
So sometimes people get weird.
that brings up another point that I was struggling with. I feel like as a guy, and I don't know if you've had it, I feel like whenever I would ask girls, hey, I'm a photographer, and I just see something that I really like to photograph you, they would give me this look like, it's like, no, I don't want anything other than to take your picture. Like, you could bring your boyfriend, your father, like, I don't care who comes, but they always just give you somewhere like, yeah, sure. And then you have those ones that like say, okay, and they exchange information and then you never hear from them again. So did you have that issue also or no?
Oh yeah, like a lot. That's like all the time. That's even like still now, where girls are
Uh,
like I had a girl recently. I said, "Hey, I love your work, or I love your look. I'd love to shoot with you." And she is not a model; she's just a regular person. And then she messaged my wife saying, "Your man is flirting with me." And I said,
no, I'm not.
"Please, oh my God, no." I was like, no, that it was ridiculous. But I get that every now and then I think my main thing right now, because of where I am, and there's the Mormon Church, and there's a lot of people who are, I don't know, judged on. So I work with these people, and then they're like, I don't know, like my boyfriend's family saw the pictures, and I just don't want them up anymore. And then I'm like, what does your boyfriend family have to do with this? Like, you already posted them. I already posted. They're already out there. Like, I'll
Mhm.
take them down on my Instagram. That's fine. But like, what? Like, talk about that with your boyfriend. Like, figure that out before you already come over here and I do a whole free shoot for 2 hours of shooting and 4 hours of editing. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's another reason why honestly I like working with the agency is because anything we do is like it's a complete collaboration. So they know what's going on. I know what's going on. The owner knows. So when we put it out there, it's not like, well, I don't like this, or can you take it down, or my boyfriend. It's literally it's a bunch of people coming together to put out art and content, and it's nice to not have to worry about all the other stuff. Because I've gotten away from asking people unless it's just I see something that I really really like, and even then it's like I'm taking a chance on them like saying yes and then not responding at all or giving you that look like what do you really want? It's like nothing. I just want to take my picture. Here's my business card. Here's my website. Here's all this information, and they still give you this look like. I can only imagine adding the religious thing on top of it. Texas is not that way at all. So
Yeah, it's not that crazy. But over here in Utah, there it's crazy. But no, I mean one of my most recent ones that I was like, I wasn't like completely pissed off, but I was just like, this is aggravating. Was
mhm.
this girl? She wanted photos. I said we can do it. And then the way I work is I'll either shoot you for free or like pretty much kind of like covering if we get like a studio or covering costs. Help me cover
Mhm.
costs. Um, and so, but pretty much it's free. And then you come through. I'll upload it to Instagram. I'll upload whatever I want to Twitter, Snapchat, everywhere, TikTok, and then throw the rest up on my OnlyFans. And then I have my Equid, which I sell full photo sets. And so there's lingerie, there's nude, there's all kinds of other things in there. Um,
Mhm.
and so I always tell people, if we do that, just know I have control of the photos. I'm gonna give you copies too, and then you can do whatever you want with them. And
Yeah.
so I feel like what I'm going through right now is a lot of girls making OnlyFans, and they're like, I'm gonna make $3,000 my first month, and then they don't promote it, they don't say anything about it. They post one picture and be like, I have an OF, and then they make $400, $300, and then they get mad at me, and they're like, I feel like you made more off the photos. So that exactly happened to me. She's like, this girl was mad. She's like, I feel like you made more off the photos. I don't have control over where they go and yada, 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 yada. And so I told her, I was like, in the beginning, I told you what I'm going to do with these photos. First of all, second of all, if you want control of the photos and where they go, it's 175 because I'm not going to do anything with these. It's going to be 2 hours of shooting, 4 hours of editing, and I'm going to give you the photos and then you say whatever I can post on Instagram. Pretty much, so we can at least get some promotions going. But yeah, everybody's cheap, and then they want to make the OnlyFans. They want quick, easy money, but OnlyFans it's work too. So I mean, people don't understand. So that's my biggest problem right now.
Then? So you don't have a contract that you use with them to
just like a simple model release where it's just like sign this. It's it make sure that that these photos are mine. We're shooting for free. All this. It's all written out. But so after the fact,
you did all the work. You did all the editing. You did everything. You're getting paid for your work, and she got mad because you got paid more than she did for your work.
I've been getting that argument a lot. I don't think it's right that you're profiting off of other girls' nudity. I was like, well, then they can pay. Nobody wants to pay. Don't come over here if it doesn't make sense.
If you tell them up front what you're doing and like you lay it all out very clearly for them, I mean, I get it. You're profiting off of someone else, but you made it very clear to that person what you were going to do with the pictures. I don't think they really can argue it after you've like verbally said everything. But then again, if you put it all in a contract and they actually sign it, then they have nothing they can say. How do I say this? I don't know even how to say it really, because I don't shoot like you shoot. We have completely different styles. Not that is anything wrong with yours. Would I do it? It's probably not for me, just because but I'm not going to tell you what to do or how to do your work. And if you got the okay in the beginning from these people, like they knew, I don't feel they should be able to come back later and say, I don't like what's going on now. Like you knew in the beginning what was happening. Don't come back later and say, I don't like this now. Stop doing it. That to me is where they can no longer say anything. So
yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. And I think I had one girl like that in Texas, but it's been more apparent here. Like, and I feel like a lot of people here it's just like they're oppressed by like the church. Like the church, they have family or friends in the church, and they're getting judged by everybody. So it's a little crazy out here. And I'm stepping on landmines out here. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go to Vegas.
Okay, so has that made you want to change your style at all, or are you staying true to? Because you were very consistent and true to who you were while you were here. It's one of the things I think everyone respected about you. You knew some of the teachers were going to fuss. You knew some of the people were going to be like, I don't like this. But you never, like, you were true to who you were. Do you feel this pressure from the church? For lack of a better word,
I feel like as long as I have my contract and we talk it out, and I tell people over and over, I'm gonna post this to OnlyFans. I'm gonna promote it on Twitter. Again, this is what's gonna happen. If you want control over it, 175. If you want to come and shoot for free, I'm gonna post it everywhere. And so as long as I have that communication, I'm cool. I'll keep getting people, and I feel like I'm slowly getting my network going. Like I'm just like pushing this little wheel, and it's going, but it doesn't deter me. Like it's just like it gets annoying, and then I'm like I gotta take a break because I really haven't shot. I want to say in the past 2 weeks or week, 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since I last shot, and I think it's really crazy because when I go to Texas and I'm there for a week, I'm doing 3 shoots a day, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like I'm going. But over here, it's like I have to take a break because of everybody's just like wishy-washiness and bullshit, and so
it's a different population here though too. It's very like, so we're in the Bible Belt, if you want to call it that, because you can't drink until after 12 o'clock on Sundays. But it's not. I've heard stories about how bad Utah is when it comes to that lifestyle, like the drinking, the sex, whatever you want to. Like I've just heard it's from friends that have been stationed out there. Like you don't want to visit here. It's just not the place to.
It's a pretty place. I'll say that. But yeah, the liquor laws are crazy. So Like my wife is 20, and we went out like just to the grocery store, and I was like, I want to make, I wanted to make something, and I needed beer for it, and I had like a little 6 pack of beer, and then they wouldn't sell it to me because my wife was with me, and I was like, they were like, well, she's underage. I was like, she's my wife, and they were like, well, you could give it to her, and I was like, I probably will. It's my wife. Uh, are you not fucking hearing me? Like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. And so I just went to the store over and bought a 6 pack. I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever
And
heard.
here, if I want to give my 18-year-old son a drink, I can because he's with me.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Oh my God. It's so ridiculous. But the cool thing
you have fun
is
with those laws. You have fun with those.
It's the worst. She's 21 in October, so we're gonna go party it up. But the cool thing is that in I'm 4 hours away from Vegas, and I have some friends out there. So I'm going out there in a couple weeks, and I'm gonna go out there and shoot and have a bunch of fun. But yeah, I think it's really cool because I've been talking to a lot of people out there, and they are for everything that I'm saying. I'm like, I'm posting to OnlyFans. They're like, let's both post to both of our OnlyFans. They're way more wild out there. So I was like, let's do it. I can't wait to see you.
It's Vegas. I mean, it's literally called Sin City. I mean,
yeah, I can't wait. It's where I should have been stationed. God damn it. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
I bet.
But
I can only imagine what you're gonna put out from there.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited. We'll see what I get into. But one thing I'm like I'm really that's lacking here is just diversity. I feel like, because like I swear everyone thinks I'm Samoan because there's Samoans and white people here. Like, I swear to God. So I started working here.
You're not even big enough.
So I started working here. And I was working at Amazon at the time. And this Samoan guy, he's like a manager. He came up to me and he was like, how you doing, brother? And he was just talking to me. We're going at it, talking about work. And he goes, hey, there's a place for like me and you down the street. We should go sometime. And I was like, me and you? Like, what? What do you mean? He goes, yeah, it's like a Big Honolulu Grill or some shit like that. And I was like, what? It's like, yeah. He goes, yeah, our people, we go there. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can't wait, brother. I can't wait. I was just playing it out. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Whatever you say, man, let's go. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny, but like I haven't seen hardly any Mexicans. I haven't seen, I see like one black person when I go downtown. It's like, no one's here. It's ridiculous.
That's what I've heard. I've heard of I know it's going to sound really bad, and I'm sorry, but it's just what I've heard. Like, the only black people in Utah are the athletes that play professional sports. Like, for the Jazz or for whatever other teams are out there, the football teams, I've heard it's not a place where a lot of us are. And I've also heard that it can be, but it's anywhere now. It could be very racist depending on what parts you're in. So that, not that I've ever wanted to visit Utah, but if I had a reason not to visit, I feel like I stick out like a sore thumb in Texas half the time because it's very Hispanic, and I'm not, and I get talked to, like, people walk up to me and start talking away. It's like, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, I don't understand Spanish. Been here 9 years. I probably should have learned by now, but I've never felt comfortable where I go somewhere and I'm the one who stands out. I like kind of blending in the crowd. And I felt that way at the Art Institute to begin with. I very much felt out of place until I found my little group of friends. But I have a problem where I stand out. And I just feel like Utah, it would be like a sore thumb. I would just completely stand out from everyone else around me.
I think you'd be all right. I feel like I stick out because I know a lot of people. I think one of the funniest things, we went to the bank, and we were just getting I was getting something, and this lady walked up to me. She goes, "Oh my God, can I touch your hair?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." She's already touching my hair. I was like, "Oh, sure. That's fine." But I mean, I really don't care. Like, for me, I'm like, I'll stick out. Like, it's not a big problem. But I mean, it's just whatever.
I feel like that happens to people like us more often than anyone else, whether you're Hispanic or or black girls with natural hair where people are just like, who can I touch? Like, don't do that. Don't.
Yeah.
Like, if I walked up and just touched a white person for no reason in today's culture, holy crap! Like, who knows
I'm
what
a,
would
I'm a,
happen to me? So
I'm gonna do that next time I see a blonde lady. I'm like, oh my
don't
god,
do
can I
it.
touch her?
Don't do it.
It'll be great.
Don't do it. We'll be reading about you on the news. But it's just,
Oh my
I've never
goodness.
understood that. Overseas, I kind of did a little bit when I was stationed overseas, because they just didn't see black people at all. So it got to the point where we would go places, just you would see the crowds kind of like, oh my
Just like
God,
that. Oh my
exactly,
goodness.
there's a black person. At first it bothered me, but then when I realized that they just weren't used to seeing us at all, it kind of like, okay, whatever. It still gets old, but here in the United States, you've seen black people, you've seen Hispanic people, like you've seen us. You don't have to walk up and be like, "Ooh, can I?" No, don't do that. That's
Yeah.
like, don't touch me, and I won't touch you, kind of.
Yeah, I think it's a little cooler in Texas too. Because just like so I drove here from Texas and like just experiencing like a stopping off in a couple different places. It was just
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like Texas, I feel so safe in Texas and just so I feel like yeah, there probably are racists out there in Texas somewhere, but I feel like you're pretty much fine. Like especially like just while being out there, you're pretty much fine. Like 90% of the time. But like once you're traveling out, like I just felt it. And then I remember we stopped off at a gas station and they didn't want to give me gas. They're like, oh, the pump doesn't work. And I was like, okay. Uh they're like, I was like, where's the other gas station? And they're like, I don't know. And I was like, okay. And then I got put on my headphones and I hadn't pressed play yet. And the guy behind me was like, can I get 10 on 5? He's a white guy. And the guy was like, yeah, sure. And I just walked to my car. I was like, I'm gonna fucking dip. So I was just like, I can't believe I experienced that. That's like my first real racist experience. I was like, that's wild.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
You had to think about that. Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's the first. That's that's good that you haven't experienced it until you were 26, 27 years old. Uh, that's a whole nother tangent. This is about photography and us, so we'll
Yeah.
leave it alone. That's yeah, that's good that you haven't had to experience it. So
Yeah. So with well, I guess with all that's going on in the world, I've been inspired, but I just haven't gone. Has anything inspired you to go out and just like dive into like photojournalism, like just the photojournalism photography?
so last year, when everything kind of blew up with the George Floyd killing and just kind of the back-to-back occurrences with things, there was a rally downtown, and I went out and shot that. And I feel like the pictures were good. Uh, they got a good response. And then a another guy from the school, I can't think of his name right now. It's slipping my mind. He did a street dance show just to kind of show support for that. And I went and shot that also, just so two events over one weekend, just kind of showing support for all lives matter, Black lives matter, and just to show that we're tired of people, Black and brown people getting treated a certain way. Outside of that, I haven't done anything, but I've become much more aware of Black and brown owned businesses, supporting things that are more in line with my heritage and what I grew up with. But to say that it's made me dive more into photojournalism, I can't say that because that's not my style. It's just I've tried it. It's not bad, but it's not for me. I can't. I don't want to be out in the grit and the grime, or it's just that stuff. I feel is depressing at times. I don't watch the news for that reason, so I
Yeah.
try to stay away from it. I mean, I hear about it and I see it, but it's just I've dealt with enough negative stuff in my life to where I don't want to just keep subjecting myself to it repeatedly over and over again. So
I feel you. I feel you. With like the black owned businesses though, I feel like you could definitely do like photos for them. So a girl that I had on a couple weeks ago, I'm gonna post it soon. But a girl I had on a couple weeks ago, her name's Claudia, and she mainly does Mexican American photography. So she does she did in studio the mariachis, And then I don't know what the exact word of it is, but like the girls who have like the floral headpiece, and then they have like this huge white dress with the floral in designs. It's like a Mexican dress. She shot her in fashion, and that was amazing. And then she even did a photojournalistic piece of a little pan dulce place. I believe it's in Mexico, but it's like this. It's like in the middle, like randomly in the desert. And then she took a picture of this building, and then took a picture of this old man who just sits there all day and makes all these pan dulces. And it's really cool, like how much she dives into her heritage. So I want to see more stuff like that, because like you said, with all the negativity in the news, and then always picking sides and this and that, I feel like I want to see. I'm tired of seeing black martyrs. I want to see black heroes. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And so I'm gonna put this out there. I want to challenge anybody to go out there and just shoot their heritage and just give us more. Like there's always these little heroes, you know, and I want to see
but
more of that.
the the hard part is a lot of a lot of people don't do things for the recognition. They don't do things that way they could be known as a hero. They do it just because to them it's the right thing to do. So we don't
Mm-hmm.
hear about all that stuff the same way we hear about, 25-year-old black male shot in the back or whatever it may be. I'm just saying that, but we don't hear enough about the young black guy that helped somebody across the street just because they were like, we don't hear that stuff. So it's hard to go out and do are like, how do we go out and shoot something like that when we don't hear about it? Unless we're like walking around knocking, hey, did you do anything good today? Can I take a picture? Like, and no one wants to do that. Like, I know
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't want I wouldn't want that. Like, hey, did you do anything good today? Can I take your
I
picture?
would
So
I would just go out and find something you like. So like my friend, she likes pan dulces, and then she found this little old man, and just dived into his story. Like, hey, can I take some pictures of you? Can I talk with you? And then,
mhm.
I mean, sure, you'll get a couple people who are like, this guy's a waste of time. But you'll most of the time, if you get like a good business who has something good to offer, you'll get gold every time. So I mean, I just want to see more of that, because I haven't found that. I don't see that. And I know like the news, like the mainstream news, it's mainly all about profit. So what gets the attention,
Yeah.
whatever, all this crap. But I feel like it falls on content creators and people to find that and just create something, like even if it's not your thing, just find something.
So for that, I guess there are a lot of, especially here recently, a lot of black owned businesses that are kind of popping up all over the place. I could see myself going and talking to them and say, hey, I'm a photographer. I'm just trying to show where we're at in the community. And I'm sure a lot of them would agree to it. That might be something I could challenge myself to do more of. And then that'd be
You
something
should get
different to show
into
also.
doing some like food photography. Like if you find like a food truck, I did
Mm-hmm.
this a while back. I found a food truck. I did pictures for him, and I gave him a bunch of free photos. And then he just gave me like the menu for free, like a whole bunch of food. Oh, I was so fat that day. It was the greatest thing
See,
ever.
exactly. That's why I don't want to do that because I'm not trying to keep my weight down. But that is a good idea though. That
Well,
is
take
because
some friends.
there's a few different places around here. Actually, one a lady came to my house and cleaned it because my son graduated last weekend, 2 weeks ago, whenever. So we had the house cleaned just because I didn't feel like hearing my mother complaining about stuff because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how clean your house is, your mother always finds something that's wrong with your house. Like you didn't.
Yeah.
So I had somebody clean it and I found out that they were not only her own, the cleaning company was hers. They have a sip it, which I've been back to a few times, which is like to go daiquiris and drinks. Holy shit. You need a drink? Go to them. So they've got that. They've got a wing spot, but it's just this whole little everything is all black owned. And she was just a nice person. Her husband owns the wing it and sip it spot, and then she owns that. So that's not even thinking that could have been a very easy connection to show somebody in the neighborhood doing something positive and just being a good thing. But it's finding the opportunity really. And I have not looked in that direction, but it is something that I could open up to and give just another facet to add to whatever I have growing in my little world of photography.
I definitely think you can do it because looking back on a lot of your work, you have really clean work from like your landscapes to street photography to fashion. It's all very clean. So I feel like anything you do, you can turn into gold and just play with.
It didn't start that way, man. It took a
Well, no,
lot
it
of
never starts
practice.
that way. It never starts that way.
But
But
thank you.
yeah.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me.
So you said it's difficult for you to push yourself. How do you push yourself if it's like you reached out the other day, like for the first time like ever, like asking me to critique a photo, and so you're a little photo set, and I gave you some tips. So like
Mhm.
what like do you just reach out to other people, or like what kind of pushes you to do that? Like give me like what inspires you to be
So,
better?
what inspires me to be better is just myself. I have this from as long as I can remember. I hate being average at anything. I can't stand being average. If I'm going to do something, I want to be good at it. So that's what kind of drives me to be good. But I have several people that I kind of reach out and show my work to, just to say, what do you think? I kind of avoided you. I've avoided Jason just because I felt like you guys were so good. And in class, you guys don't know this, I was competing with you guys every time in my head. Like, you guys have no idea. That's what pushed my portrait work to where it is now. It's like, I'm gonna be as good as them. But now, people like, you remember Shakira, our admin person at school?
I
She
think
worked
so.
downstairs. Her, Stella, Sarah, I'll show them my work and be like, hey, where could I have done better? Where am I lacking at? Their feedback. Juan is somebody else. I don't know if you still talk to Juan and Vanessa. I'll talk to them a lot and show them myself, hey, where am I lacking at? Where can I get better? And now with this agency, the owner and their people, they see it. It's like, well, why don't you try this? Uh, I reached out to you for that one because that style, the shoot that I did, it wasn't necessarily your line, but it was more leaning towards your style of shoot. And I wanted somebody who's done that before to say, this is what you can do better. This is where you're good at. So it's knowing I'm not the best and there's always gonna be somebody better. That's just the nature of any business. There's always gonna be somebody better than you, no matter how good I am. And I can always keep learning. So why not learn from somebody who does swimsuit shoots? This is more in line with what you do than what I do. How can I make this better? Where did I struggle with the lighting? And that day, it really just it kind of happened that way. I went into it planning to shoot the way I normally shoot. It ended up being the lighting wasn't good for my lights where we were at. Just and it's like, you know what? Let me just ask him what he thinks of this. So it's people that have been there that know how to shoot it, that are better at it than me, asking them, and then taking everything, and then when I go back out, using it again and again until I get better. But yeah, you, Jason, there was a few other ones. He was more photojournalistic. I think his name was Jeremiah. His work was just when it comes to like the street photography and the photojournalism was just good grief, great. I see some of his stuff on Facebook every now and then, and it's like, holy shit, this guy's amazing. But it's just looking at you guys' stuff and thinking, okay, how can I get there without, and then I wouldn't have told you. Now we're all graduated, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I was competing with you. You were good. I was trying to catch up. So
I appreciate that. Oh my goodness. So in posting on social, like where do you post mainly? Are you just on Instagram or do you have a Facebook page?
uh, Instagram and Facebook. Every now and then I'll put it on Snapchat, but I feel like if you see it in one spot, you're gonna like. There's no point in putting it in all of them. I feel like they're all basically the same. Like the same people that follow me on Instagram follow me on Facebook, and some of them are on Snapchat. So if I post it in one place, they're gonna see it. So why like keep?
So yeah, I get what you're saying. So from my experience, I get people who don't have Instagram but they have Facebook, who
Mhm.
don't have Facebook but they have Instagram. I get people who don't have either but just use Snapchat. And so I got everything. And then from working with people that I work with, I've found like I get most of my followers from shout outs. I don't do marketing campaigns. I don't do anything like that. I literally say, hey, Elvin, we did that lingerie shoot. Can you post it on your Instagram and shout me out? And then your followers will follow me, and I'll get your followers from Instagram. So if you have a whole bunch of followers on Instagram and not a lot of followers on Snapchat, it's like I want you to shout me out on Instagram. But if you have more followers on Snapchat, I want you to shout me out on Snapchat. So it's just like always tell people, shout me out everywhere. Shout me out everywhere. That's the best thing to do. And then when I post
Oh,
everywhere, I've noticed like I've done it to where I'm only posting for like straight for a week every day on Snapchat, posting every day straight for a week on Twitter, same thing, Instagram, Facebook. And so I can see on like my OnlyFans and my Ecwid, my sales going up. So I know I'm only promoting on Snapchat and my sales are going high. I'm only
mhm.
promoting here on Facebook and I'm getting like 3 or 4 followers. So I just post it everywhere because you never really know where you can get that exposure.
On that topic of promotions or shout outs or whatever, I'm sure you get the messages, hey, we like your work, but notice you. How do you feel about, because I'm sure some people do, how do you feel about people that pay for their likes or pay for their followers? Because there are some people where I'll look at their work and I'll know for a fact it's nowhere near yours or mine or some other people that we know, but you look at their followers and their likes and it's in the thousands and the work is subpar at best. How does that make you feel?
Um, so I definitely feel like you can't get caught up in numbers, because you'll definitely drive yourself crazy. Because I definitely know a lot of people who I'm like, or I've seen a lot of work who I'm like, that sucks, and this is why it sucks, and I want to tell you, but you have 500 likes on that picture, and I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like let's address the first thing. So paying for promotions, I feel like it helps and it works if you're selling something. So if you were saying, okay, I'm having this photo extravaganza photo shoot. Let's say you paid, for a badass studio space and you want to have a whole bunch of models, whatever, whatever. Okay, go ahead and do a promotion. That's fine. But paying for a promotion to just get followers there's no reason to it. And there's no I feel like there's no I don't know. I feel like there's no relationship because most of my followers are fans of someone else who came to follow me and fell in love with my work. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like, oh, I just popped up in your feed because I paid for it and then you followed me or whatever, or you liked one of my photos. So I feel like with this, it feels more natural. Then I feel like I have a really good relationship with my fan base. So it pays no, it's not useful. It's like a waste of money. If you have it, go ahead and spend it, but why? It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, I also think that there's a lot of stuff behind it too. Because you'll definitely see people who have bad photos and they're getting all these likes. One, either the algorithm is just in their favor that day. Two, it's a thirst trap and not a well photographed thirst trap. I get those a lot where it's like a bad photo, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, she looks hot, cool, but it's a really bad photo and it makes me so mad. Like if you would have just called me, but yeah, yeah, I'm not really too disheartened about like I guess the followers and the likes. I think my main thing, um, I guess with social media in general, it was just like getting banned and getting censorship in general. Like that's my
Mm-hmm.
main thing right now. I have 6 strikes on my main Instagram account, and it's
There's only
ridiculous.
three and you're out. So you're like out
I got
twice now already.
six. I got 6 strikes. It's so the first one was an accident. I accidentally posted a nude, got taken down. I was like, oh crap. I didn't mean to post that. Okay, and then the next 5 they've been changing the rules to go against what I do. Like they've been changing the rules ever so slightly. So it used to be you see pictures all the time of girls pose like this, and they're
Mhm.
covering their nipple. Can't hold your boobs anymore. Second strike. That's a strike.
I
Can't
see
hold
that
your
all the
boobs.
time right now.
Yeah, they're only attacking people. They'll only attack you if you've had strikes before, and they're only attacking bigger accounts. So I even know there's a guy. I think it's like Batista Photography. I don't know his name anymore. I really don't know, but he used to be he is a photographer for Playboy, and he would do a lot of stuff. And I remember I saw him post something, and then it got immediately taken down. And then he posted like, "I think this account's done. Follow me on this account. I just don't know what to do anymore." And so they just really kind of pick on you till you make a new account or you get deleted.
Hmm.
So that's one, right? And I was like, okay, don't hold boobs. Oh, I posted another one because I was like, why did why did it get taken down? Because they just say sexual content. That's all it says. So I
Hmm.
posted another one so that again, third strike. And then I called one of my friends and I was like, why am I getting taken down? She's like, I just read it. You can't hold boobs. I was like, okay, can't hold boobs. Got it. So we keep going. And then I got another one taken down. Um, and I didn't know why, because she was completely in lingerie. Everything was covered. I mean, like, it wasn't bad. And so I was like, okay, I reposted it. Got taken down again. So that's already like, I'm on 5. And then I called her again and I said, hey, why did this get taken down? She goes, what did you say in the post? I said, check out the link in bio. OnlyFans is popping. She goes, you can't say OnlyFans anymore. And I said, okay, so take it out. Just check link in bio. That's all I say. Check out link in bio. Check out the shop. That's all I can say. So that's my main thing with like I think Instagram in particular is just the censorship.
Hmm.
It's aggravating as shit.
I've had to learn to be okay with the likes and followers thing. And my account's slowly growing, but it's growing because of the work I'm doing. And that's to me, that's fine. I don't care if it takes a little bit longer. But at first, when you're new, when you're doing everything and you want everybody to like your work and you see people whose work is nowhere near your it's like you took this with a cell phone and the light is crap in the angle. And it's like you see that and you see for a while that ate at me, but it had to just people saying, Elvin, relax. And then last week I saw a meme or a post. It said, you know, don't sleep on the people that don't have a lot of likes and blah, blah, blah. And that it really just registered. I'll send it to you later if I can find it. But they clicked so hard in my head to just like, Elvin, your time, like the people that need to see your stuff are is going to see your stuff. Same with you. The people that want to see it and need to see it, they'll see it. But when you're a new photographer and you're trying to grab your footing in this world, it sucks when you see subpar stuff with all these likes and follow, and you go and look at their stuff, and it just makes you more and more like this is shit. Like, and I remember it because Juan, one of my better friends, he's probably gonna laugh if he hears this or watch this. My first work in one of our like photography 101 classes, he physically said, "Why is this guy taking pictures?" Like that's how bad I was. It was horrible. He told me it later, like when we were friends, like we were talking about stuff, and he told me, and he was like, "But you've gotten so much better. Like your work is so much better." And for him being honest and telling me, like I appreciate that kind of stuff. But when I see stuff like what I used to take at first when I learned, and they were crap, I had no business posting some of that stuff on Instagram. To see stuff like that now getting hundreds of likes, it's like, what the hell is going on? To where people like him or me, and it's like well, you might get 30 or you might get 40. It's like, okay, the whole algorithm thing, I don't understand it. I'm not going to try to understand it. I'm not going to follow it. I post what I like and what I think looks good. And that's it. If people like it, they do. If they don't, they don't. But it took so long for me to learn that. It sucked, Sebastian. It sucked. So,
Oh yeah, I was definitely in the same boat. I remember getting mad at myself. I'm like, why do I suck? I'm like, I suck. I don't have no one likes my shit, and I was just like so mad at myself. And but yeah, no, I think the best advice you can give any photographer and like even now, post every day, like one post every day, everywhere. I say everywhere because like again, like getting that exposure from everywhere. That's the best thing to do. And then one of my most liked pictures right now, I went off. I forgot what I went off about, but I had a whole rant, and I had passion about my photos. Um, and I got a bunch of likes, you know, because it's one, you have a good photo, but two, you also have a good caption. So I mean, that's like the best thing to do. But also like with promoting, um, I also tell people to join like Facebook groups and then just post up on there.
Mm, I don't like
No,
those.
no,
Are
yeah,
you?
and it sounds whack as shit, and I hated it at first, but I started doing it, and I see it in two ways. I want followers. My followers, I get at least 4 followers every time I post a photo.
Mhm.
So that's that. And then I also see it in my sales. I posted stuff earlier, and I think I made $40 before I called you, just sitting here because I have it up in the Equid. And then I was checking my OnlyFans before I got on here with you, and I made another $40. So it's just like as long as you throw it out there, you'll make the money. So I think there are some Facebook groups that are really, really whack, and they suck. But most of the time, they're pretty decent, and they'll expose you to some good people.
There's I've been in a few and I've left a few because I just feel like I kind of was talking about people that post crappy pictures, but I feel like some of those groups they don't give people the benefit of the doubt to know that this person is learning. Like, and when they ask for advice, like some of the responses I've read is like, "Are you like, did you forget that you had to learn how to use your camera at one point?" Like, I'm
Yeah,
sure your figures didn't look, and the way they talk down on people, like why, or when people reach out for advice or help, they're like, "What did you do?" Like the dumbest, most obvious things instead of like offering genuine advice. Like I just be cool. I don't know. Like you don't have to be a dick about stuff. Don't be that person like, what did you turn the camera on? Really, dummy. Like that's the advice you give somebody. So some of those groups I'm sure are cool, but the few that I've been in, I've kind of steered away from just because I get tired of seeing stuff like that. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, you're not gonna ever get rid of that. That's all Facebook groups. There's definitely people who think they're the shit, and they have never really been critiqued. So it's ridiculous. One thing I was doing for a good little while, just because it was the pandemic, there's nothing else to do, is if they started shitting on people, I would screenshot their photo, one of their photos from their portfolio, and I'm like, this is why you're shit, and I'm gonna tell you why this photo sucks, and this is why this photo sucks. I was like, don't destroy people. I was like, everything that I'm gonna tell you is useful, it's beneficial and information. You'll have people
mhm.
who come at you in really assholish ways. But if you can take that and redirect it, and you'll learn. So I posted the one that you like, the girl in the road with all the rain and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had that one, and I posted it again to all the Facebook groups, and I got some critiques. Some people are dumb. They're like, "She's so beautiful, but the nose ring is so distracting," and I'm like, "Shut up." So that's one you don't even acknowledge, right? But the another one was, you should try. She's what did he say? He said something like, you should try actually um, masking her out instead of just coloring the picture. So like I masked her. He said something. I don't remember exactly how he said it, but I masked her out. So again, like I made her brighter, and then
Mhm.
like on a couple edges in the skirt, you can see where the mask is. It's like the road's a little bit brighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was like saying that, but in a very assholish way. And so I was like, you're right. And so I took that, and now I'm a little more careful of how I mask it. I've been more attention to detail. And then I've learned a technique where I do a selection around, I do the quick select tool, and then do an invert of that because that'll completely select my model. It's easier. So yeah, I mean, I've just been playing around with that. But you're going to get people who suck, and you're going to get people who want to just tear people down, and you just gotta just ignore it. It's whatever.
I mean, but for somebody like you or me whose skin is thicker, I mean, 20 years in the military, thick skin. Like I've been yelled at and cussed out by people that it's just, you have to have thick skin. But for somebody who doesn't, like we have a few classmates, and one of them, I don't remember her name, but I remember her crying because of one of our teachers. And I think it was Gary. He just ripped her a new one. And like she walked out of the class crying. It's like, know who you're talking to. Like, correct them, but be, like you said, there are certain ways to correct people. You don't have to be a dick, and understand that if you see somebody, and granted, social media has got everybody being keyboard warriors. You can say whatever you want because you're never going to run into them. So they feel like they have this immunity, I guess, to be, I can say whatever I want to say. And it's, but some people can't handle that. And you never know, you might push one day and that person goes and does something dumb, or they give up photography altogether because instead of just being like, hey, try this, you were an idiot. Like how you said, there are better ways to say some things. I feel like social media is just, it's what we want people to see of our lives anyway. It's not true. It's not real. It's what we put out there for people to see. So just handle it like being an adult, I guess, is the only way to say it.
So I think you're right. Like definitely people don't have thick skin. But in the case of photography or like any artwork, it's not just like photography, it's anything. You're gonna get people who talk to you like me or you would, like, hey, you should try this and this is why. It could be a little better. You did a good shot, or maybe it's even a bad shot. Hey, this is shit. Because I've had those days where one day I just blow up and I'm like, I fucking hate everything you're doing right now. And like I get aggravated. So, but I mean, you're gonna get those people, huh?
I had one of those yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm not even looking at pictures. Like they're not coming out the camera. I might just delete the whole SD drive. Seriously.
Yeah, no. So you're gonna get those people, but I think you have to be willing to take it, because in photography, there are so many ways to do one thing. You know, you can especially in Photoshop, you can color the eyes like 6 different ways. So I mean, there's so many things that you can do. If you want to be better, then take that critique. But if you're happy just sniffing your own ass, then I mean, just ignore it all, post and ghost. Yeah, but you have to be able to like let it all in.
Yeah, constructive criticism is one thing, and you should be able to take it. I completely agree with you. But even in constructive criticism, you don't have to like rip into it. Like the easiest way I can say it, probably one of the best people that did it was Stella. She was hard on all of us, but it wasn't hard to the point where it made you question, should I be taking pictures or not? Like it was
Stella's dope.
Yeah, but she said it in a way that made you, okay, let me take what she said and get better. Well, damn, I don't want to take pictures anymore. There's a way to constructively criticize somebody without tearing them down. And you just, if you can't do it, what's the old saying? If you can't say anything nice, like don't say it at all. Like just say it, like correct them, but be cool about it. That's it. Like you have to be able to take the criticism if you want to get better. I agree with you. If it wasn't for all y'all, who knows where I'd be right now. I wouldn't be as good as I am because you guys pushed me. Stella, Sarah, they challenged me. There's a reason I'm as good as I am right now, and I'm still growing. We all are. But if they would have did it a different way, who knows where I'd be with my camera right now. It might be sitting there collecting dust, and I'm bagging groceries at HEB. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So you've been reaching out to like our old teachers for like critiques.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's interesting. That's one thing I want to make. I want to start it on TikTok, really, where like we critique people's photos and give better tips. Because I do feel like people need to get critiqued, and especially with amateurs coming out and like people who are just starting, I feel like they post and then their whole family and the model says, "This is great, this is awesome." And then they're like, I'm the best. I am probably the best that ever existed. And so like they post again to these Facebook groups, and then these people destroy them. But if they have someone who's like, okay, this is a safe space. I'm gonna tell you why it's bad, but I'm gonna help you get better. I feel like if we can create that, we'll just have better artists in general. I think that's like the way to go.
They still have to be willing to take the criticism.
Oh
Like
yeah,
because you could say it. Some people just can't handle criticism. Period. No matter how nice you say it, it's just they can't. It's just they, like you said, they think they're God's gift to whatever career field they're in, and they just don't want to hear it from anyone. I think if you're willing to take the help or to take the criticism, it only makes you better. Wow, I was out shooting with Jeff that day. He was asking questions, and even though it was my shoot, he was like, "Elvin, did you think about this?" And when he said it, it was like, "Damn, I didn't." Let me switch my angle. And when I switched the angle, the shot, it was like there's one of the money shots that I got. But it was, if I wasn't willing to hear what he was telling me on my shoot, I wouldn't have got the shot. But it was just, he said something, it clicked, let me move it, and it worked. So you still, no matter where it's coming from or how it's coming, you still have to be willing to take the criticism for it to work. If you're not gonna at least hear it, then you're doing yourself a disservice.
yeah, and I think a lot of people think it's an attack on them or something like that, but I feel like a lot of the times you get so like hyper focused on this technique. I'm like, I need to make sure that the camera's exposing right. I need to make sure that I have my SD card. I need to make sure my batteries are charged. Where are my lights? Should I put that light there? There. I usually put it there. Let's put it there. And then someone says, "Hey, why don't you put that light on the floor?" And then you stand right there, and then you're like, boom, like it just, and you're like, "Whoa, I didn't even
Yeah,
know I could do that." Yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
it's just like, yeah, it definitely takes some time. That was one thing me and Jeffrey were talking about. Like, how do you take criticism? I'm like, just take it right on the chin. Just like, let's go.
It does, but it doesn't have to be right on. I mean, it does have to be right on the chin. But there's just, and Jeffrey is very good at how he talks to people and how he says things. His first of all, his voice is so like, it just comes across so smooth. You're just like, okay, Jeff. Like, but then if you actually listen to what he's saying, like he's telling you some things that you should be paying attention to. But one, I think it's the delivery, because I think you and I are very blunt sometimes in how we say things. They just kind of come out, and if you, not that it's mean, but it's very direct. It's,
Yeah.
and some people can't even take that. But it's all learning. It's all, everything's learning. That's all I can say. It's, you're constantly learning how to do things better, how to take criticism. Everything's a learning experience. So
What do you think is there anything that sticks out that you've learned, I guess, since you've graduated? Like, so we got all this information and we graduated and we're done and like we're masters now. But I mean, what have we learned once we're out? What is something that kind of like sticks out?
you know what? My editing got better after graduating, uh, from YouTube and reading and looking at other people's stuff. I feel like they taught us. First of all, Photoshop is so vast. That's, you can't learn everything in school. It's impossible. So once I graduated and sitting down last year with all that time we had on our hands, looking at different people's editing styles, looking to see what they did, reading, my editing is one thing that I know has gotten better since graduating from school. It has. Lighting has probably gotten better, just because I've had more time to play with it and play with my lights and learn them, how they work. So I would say those two things for sure have definitely gotten better since graduating from school.
That's really good. I think the one of the main things I learned from the pandemic was I don't have to, because like I said before, I wanted extravagant backgrounds and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in a really small, I think 600 square foot or 500 square foot apartment with my dog and all my furniture, and I did photo shoots in it, and they came out pretty decent. I'm pretty happy with what came out, but I think that kind of gave me ideas now to just create something and just try it and just, I guess, build my own little sets. So I think that's one thing
But
that I learned.
for you having so limited space in that apartment, the work that you produced and that you turned in, it speaks for itself. But that's one of the reasons why I like being outside, because I feel like outside there's so much, it's so different from being in it. Like, it's one thing to sit in the studio and have the chair and the backdrops, and I get it and it's nice. But when you go outside and you could produce that kind of work just because you're outside and you've got a cityscape or you've got rivers and water is something that I'm starting to love shooting around. It's something about even just the sounds while you're outside. It adds so much more to the picture. Like you can look at the picture and see the water flowing or hear like whatever. I know it's all kind of, yeah, whatever, but I guess just when I look back at stuff that I've done inside and outside, the work I've done outside, I feel like it's so much better because of the backgrounds are so dynamic. I can't think of a better word, or dramatic, however you want to say it, it doesn't matter. But for you to be able to produce the stuff that you have on the inside in that small area, it speaks volumes to the artist that you are. So, because I feel like I'm much
Thank
better
you.
outside. There's no way I could have done. I don't feel like I could have done what you did in that area. Not not at that time. Maybe now, maybe, but it would still be playing around with it. So you're good, man. It's on you.
Thank you, thank you. Well, yeah, no, I do agree with the outside stuff. I definitely want to go play outside, soon, soon. But yeah,
Come back to this
uh,
Texas heat, sweat it
oh
out
yeah,
with us
I can't wait. I can't wait. Swamp butt all day.
all day. I bring
Oh
a
my
towel with me every
goodness.
time I go out and shoot now. It's like just wiping the sweat away.
Oh my goodness. Ugh, ugh.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
bad.
oh, let me show you this real quick. Actually, I bought these. Have you ever heard of the Black Tape Project?
Yes, I'm actually the agency that I'm working with where let me be quiet so I don't put nothing out there. Yes, I've heard of it.
So you're
We'll talk
probably gonna work
offline.
with them
We'll talk
soon.
offline about that.
Cool. But yeah, so I got these and I can't wait to play with them. But I was gonna say you should get some, but you're already gonna. It seems like you might be playing with them. But yeah, and these were only like I think these are $18 or $15. Um, but yeah, like going back to like being creative. I just want to
Mhm.
say like it doesn't have to be expensive, you know. Like this is
Yeah,
literally an outfit. It's like go figure. You just go outside. That's an outfit. So
it could be. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, I think that's all the questions I have for you. So I usually end this all the same way. If you have like one word or one phrase pertaining to photography that's something you would tell to beginners or just people or photographers in general, what would it be?
Uh, one phrase or word. Believe in yourself, honestly. Uh, and if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. Especially with this stuff. If you don't feel like your work is good, no one else is gonna think it either. So believe in yourself.
Believe in
I don't.
yourself. You heard it straight from
That was
Elvin.
the
I'm
dumbest
gonna
thing
put
ever.
I'm gonna put your Instagram stuff down below, and then we'll have all your social medias up there so people can follow you. Awesome. Thank you
Appreciate
for
you.
talking with me.
No problem. Sorry it took so long.
No, it's great. It's great.